What's up, y'all? It's your girl, El Rochelle, the Hardwood Diva, and I am here for you Thursday, December 12th, for our NFL Week 15 picks. We've got 3 weeks left of football regular season, then it's on to the playoffs. I'm so excited. This year has gone by so fast. The season has just flown by. So happy, though, to have football. But here we go. Thursday, tonight's game, we've got San Diego Chargers versus the Denver Broncos. Broncos have been killing it this season. And that does not change versus San Diego Chargers. Division rival, of course. But the Chargers have been doing very well. Phillip Rivers is having one of his best seasons after having a pretty horrible season last year. But I'm going to have to go with the Broncos and Peyton Manning on this one. Their defense does very well against the Chargers, so I'm going to have to go with them. Sunday, we've got our 10 a.m. games. First up, the Redskins versus the Falcons. Yo, this Redskins nonsense is crazy. Of course, tomorrow for our Hardwood Diva Sports News of the Week, I will definitely be talking more about this Shanahan, Snyder, Robert Griffin story. But to say the least, I think it is definitely taking a toll on this team. They did really, really bad last week. And I'm really not expecting them to do much better. They've decided to shut RG3 down for the rest of the year to not get hurt. Sure, Shanny. Sure, that's where you're doing it. But, yeah, so Kirk Cousins will be their starter for the next 3 weeks. This may be very interesting because Kirk Cousins is not a bad quarterback. Having another young quarterback on your team is very interesting. You don't want your quarterback to always feel like he has to look over his shoulder. Of course, Kirk Cousins has said all the right things. RG3 is our starter. He's just the backup, blah, blah, blah. But we'll see. We'll see how Kirk does for the rest of these weeks here in the season because they're just playing for pride at this point. But I'm going to go with the Falcons on this one. As bad as the Falcons have been, this Redskins situation is horrible. And I just don't see them doing very well away from home, having to still deal with this craziness. So, going with the Falcons. Next up, Chicago versus Cleveland. I'm going to go with Chicago. No matter who their quarterback is, Josh McCown did a very, very good job this past week. If you had him for fantasy, good luck to you. Jay Cutler is supposed to practice this week, so we'll find out more probably today on his status for this Sunday's game. Either way, I'm going with Chicago Bears. I think either way they have an opportunity to beat the Cleveland Browns. And Alshon Jeffrey is definitely coming on as a wide receiver to be feared in the league. He is a big receiver that makes all kinds of crazy catches in that same vein of your Mike Williams from USC back a few years. I say a few because he about the same age as me. Back a while back. Too bad Mike Williams really couldn't, make it in the league. But this guy is amazing to watch. He is definitely a compliment to Brandon Marshall. So I see this offense doing great things. So I'm going to go with Chicago Bears. Houston versus Indianapolis. Houston's already fired their coach. Their season is in the tank at this point. I'm going with Indianapolis, even though Andrew Luck doesn't have very many weapons, even fewer weapons than he had last year. I definitely think they have at home, have a very good chance of beating a pretty poor Houston team right now. Buffalo Bills versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, the Jacksonville Jaguars, even though they're at this point also only playing for pride, they've done really well. They were supposed to be the 0-16 team. That is what I said. But I definitely see a team that is trying, a team that's changed their thinking, their mindset, and they are really trying to put out quality products. As players, they're doing their best to play well and win these games. They're not just sitting there, collecting a paycheck. They really want to play. They really want to win, and they seem to have bought into the culture there. So hopefully next season we'll see a better Jacksonville Jaguars team if they can really get a quarterback set up. but we'll see. Patriots versus Miami Dolphins. Now, the Patriots lost Gronk for the season. This is really, really sad because Gronk had just had some major surgeries earlier this year that halted his season. He wasn't able to come back until I believe it was week 7. And when he was on. He was definitely what Tom Brady needed. However, he's gone again. And yes, there is a young core of receivers, tight ends that have learned and blossomed over this season. They've done that with Gronk there. So I'm not sure how this is going to work without him being there. I know Tom Brady, Belichick, they say all the right things. We're going to just have to see if they can play all the right ways. So we'll see what happens. But I'm going to go with the Patriots versus Miami because the Patriots do a very good job of winning. Miami kind of tanked this season. Too bad. They looked pretty good at the beginning, but, you know, that's why they play the game, as they say. Philadelphia versus Minnesota. Philadelphia. Yeah. That snowball they had the other day was amazing, and LaShawn McCoy was crazy. But Nick Foles is definitely the quarterback of the future for the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm happy to see them doing well. I know they're happy, and it seems that Chip Kelly offense is working in the league. So Philadelphia over Minnesota, that's pretty easy. Seattle Seahawks versus New York Giants. Seattle Seahawks. They did lose last week versus the 49ers. Of course, that is going to happen. I believe I said that. I knew that Seattle would win at home. 49ers win at home. It's just how it works with those division rivals. They are really, really, really into not liking one another, and they're going to do their best, especially when they're at home. Going with Seattle because, well, the Giants are terrible. So there's no other way around that. San Francisco versus Tampa Bay. San Francisco, yeah, that's pretty much it. Tampa Bay's okay. They haven't done very well this season, and I don't see them beating the 49ers. And the 49ers are slowly starting to get their offensive weapons back, which is going to be very helpful for them. Getting their receivers back will take pressure off of Colin Kaepernick, and it will also take pressure off of Frank Gore. So I'm excited to see how things work for the Niners. 1 p.m. games. Jets versus the Panthers. Kansas City versus Oakland. Kansas City. Green Bay versus Dallas. Now look, my Dallas Cowboys aren't really known for their defense this year. Or rather, they are known for their defense. Well, their defense being terrible, that's what they're known for. But how they lost to the Bears was embarrassing, sad, and just shake your head worthy. I just couldn't, it didn't make no, I'm confused. I do believe that they will beat the Green Bay Packers because, well, the Green Bay Packers are the Green Bay Packers right now. But, yeah, Dallas is disappointing. Definitely disappointing right now. New Orleans Saints versus St. Louis Rams. New Orleans. Like those Saints. Arizona versus Tennessee. I'm going with the Cardinals, but it was so sad to see Tyrann Mathieu get hurt with the ACL injury, ACL and MCL injury this past week. He has done an amazing job in Arizona. I think he was second on the team in tackles through that last game. So this is really hard. I'm hoping that he does well still in Arizona. He's able to rehab. And Arizona is an amazing place to rehab. As someone that lived in Arizona, that is a perfect place that you want to rehab if you're an athlete. Weather there is great and you have top-notch facilities. I definitely hope they keep the core around him. Patrick Peterson's family is continuing to stay in his life because they've done an amazing job with him. And he's taken a huge turn for the better. So I hope and I, send out my best wishes for him. We'll be praying for him because I want to see him be successful. He is definitely one of those people that made a turn and is using all of that to the best. 5:30 p.m. game. Cincinnati versus Pittsburgh. Cincinnati. Pittsburgh found a way to lose last week. Where were you, Mike Tomlin? You should have pushed him in. So I'm going to go with Cincinnati. They're just kind of quietly doing their thing. So I think they'll be better than Pittsburgh this weekend. Look for that. Monday, Baltimore Ravens versus the Detroit Lions. Baltimore came back and won last week. Like, really did. They're kind of starting to look like that. Okay, I'm not going to lie. They're not really starting to look like that team last year. But they're doing better. But I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions on this one. Like the Lions, overall, I believe they're a better team. They didn't look so well against the Eagles in the end. In the beginning of the game, it looked great for them. But it didn't work out so well. Snowball was pretty amazing. Like when Calvin Johnson made that 33-yard catch and he came up and now it's like snow in his face and they called him an abominable snowman. It was pretty funny. But I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions this week. So they're still up there scrapping in that NFC North. We'll see how things go. Those are my picks this week, folks. Let me know what you think. Holla at me in these comments. I will talk to you tomorrow. Deuces.